Hey guys, very excited for today. We're live now on Facebook and Instagram. Today I have a very special guest. I've known this guy for some time now. I've known him before my career before I got into real estate in 2015. I consider this guy a mentor, a good friend. Very knowledgeable, has a lot of experience in the business, and I really look up to this guy.
Real quick, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there is an echo, and people are just bringing it to our attention here on Instagram. If you could mute one of your devices,
Trying to figure that out.
I think it's gone now. Oh wait, somebody's saying it sounds bad.
Yeah, you can still hear it a little bit. Let's see if I can move my phone. Technical difficulties. We're learning, we're not perfect. Yeah, you can still hear it. And then your screen went away on the StreamYard, Issa.
That's because I'm trying to share this on. Here we go.
And just a few guys, we're just figuring it out as we go. There we go. All right, ready to rock? There you go.
I'm ready, man.
Well, like I was saying before, I'm here with my good friend. Known this guy for a while. Look up to this guy as like a mentor. Business owner, entrepreneur, real estate mogul, great friend. And yeah, I'm really excited he's here today. So I want to introduce Issa Mersherbish. He's the founder and the school director of Provident Legacy Real Estate School. So before I let him speak and introduce himself, I just kind of want to do a quick overview about what we're going to go over today and why we're even doing this, right? Well, first of all, the reason I want to do this is because I think real estate is an amazing opportunity for anyone who's interested in getting involved to start a business for a couple of reasons. One, it's very inexpensive to get into it, and you can really grow a business with a license. And it's something that's changed my life personally. So a lot of people come up to me and ask me questions, and I've always say, hey, you should get into real estate. Because I really believe it's something that could change your life and can help you grow and expand into different ventures, right? So yeah, and again, we just want to bring value to people. We want to answer the questions. We want people to get the right information about real estate. We're going to go over kind of the procedure, the requirements. We may answer some questions live, and then we also want to talk about a little bit about business and how to get business in real estate and how does that work. So that being said, I would love to introduce Issa Mersherbish. So if you want to give yourself an intro, go ahead.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for doing this. I understand that your purpose is to add value to people, and especially now while many people are home, this is a good opportunity for them to perhaps get that real estate license. If they're real estate agents, they could go for that broker license right from the comfort of their home. Something that's never been done before. So the fact that you see value in that and you want to spread that to your spheres of influence, that speaks very highly of you. So thank you for that, Stephen. I appreciate you doing this. A little bit about myself. I immigrated to this country at the age of 12. I write about it. I have a book coming up. Hopefully in the next 30 days, we'll get a lot more details on it. I can't share too much now, but I wrote my first book, got it out the way, and now it's in the hands of publishers and marketers.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And there I dig deep into this immigration story. So I take the lens of the immigrant story, the 21st century immigrant story, using my own story, my mother's story, how she got here, why she wanted to come here, and all the challenges and all the hell that broke over our lives and how we were able to cope with it and transition. So details on that soon. Soon it's done. I just want to let you know I'm done with my part. Finally, it took me 2 years to get it out, but it'll be available in everywhere you could get books soon. So if you're following me, just stay connected to my Instagram or Facebook and more details on that. But immigrated to the country at the age of 12. I had transition and transition time, like any immigrant to this country at a young age, trying to adapt. In high school, I turned out to be a really bad kid because I was trying to belong, and I finally found a group of people that would accept me and make me feel that I belong. Except that group of people was not up to good things, they were up to bad things. So 18 months of that, I drove my mom crazy. The same mother who risked everything to get us here for a better future. I'm this knucklehead 16-year-old that's putting her through hell, about to risk everything she dreamed of. And then I had an encounter with God. It was at City Line Church, and I've been since 17 and a half. I've turned my life around, and it's been a miracle every day for me, man. I'm lucky to be alive. The fact that I'm here today as an entrepreneur, as a leader in my community, I'm a miracle of God, man. I'm supposed to be dead or locked up,
Wow.
but God has a unique way of using people that you don't expect to go and transform their own lives and the lives of their families, and hopefully inspire other people. And there's the element of my faith that's so important to me. And I got married at the age of 23, really young, about to turn 24. And when we got married, we had Sophia, and then we had Abraham 2 years later. And then 5 years later, we came with Joseph, who's now 2 years old. And I was transformed from a lost kid looking to belong to a family man who's really building the real business, the biggest business, the most important business, the most precious business that I'm building is my household. And I think that's not a message you hear from a lot of entrepreneurs these days. Everything is about the hustle, the grind, the sale, the hustle, the grind, the sales. For what? For what? So why that's why I asked you before this call is, why do you want to do this? Why get up? Why get away from your family? Why get away from your day-to-day to come and even talk to me on this live right here? Why are we pursuing real estate? Why do you want to get your license, right? Why do you want to join a class, get your license? If you don't have a why that's important and that's deep enough to motivate you when things are bad, you shouldn't do this, because real estate is tough, man. Everybody's gonna tell you it's easy. Steve, you make it look easy, my friend. You make it look easy, but it is not easy, right? It's not for the weak. And you survived this far because you have a why that's important to you, that's been keeping you going, right? So mine is multi-layered, and we don't have the time for it in this interview.
Yeah.
A part of it has to do with my family, my legacy. If you notice the company that I founded, the name of it connects to my identity. It's all about legacy for me. It's what do I leave behind that's not only for my children, but for my community and for generations to come. And And I would love to dive into that, but I know this is not what the interview is about. So we're gonna go right into real
Yeah,
estate.
no, I mean we're gonna go deep into that, but really I would love to know, like I know because right now you currently own Provident Legacy Real Estate School. You're the founder and you're running that. But before this, you were in real estate, right? You're a real estate agent. And can you tell me a little bit about that? How did you even get into the business?
Yeah.
What made
So
you get into the business?
So I started Provident Legacy Real Estate Services. That's not a school, that's a brokerage, back in 2012. Prior to the opening of Provident Legacy, I was a real estate agent since 2010. What got me to open up a brokerage was my experience, my first 18 months as an agent. Um, I came from a banking background. I worked at Bank of America for 5 years. I had an incredible career there. Very fun. Worked with amazing people. Learned a ton of things in banking and finance. And when we purchased our first home, Ketty and I, and had our first child, the bank gave me 3 months off for paternity leave, and during that time I started doing what you were mentioning earlier, which is reflecting and thinking and kind of like, where assessing where you are in life. And that's when I decided I want to get my real estate license. It was like a time of quarantine for me back then. It was paternity leave to spend with my newborn daughter, and my wife and I both were off, and she said, you know what, why don't you take a class? It's just 2 weeks. You got 3 months here. Take 2 weeks to go to get that real estate license you wanted. And I went ahead. I did that, and ever since, I resigned from my work in banking. My first 5 months in real estate were terrible. I almost quit and went back to banking.
Same
Um,
thing.
and then I switched agencies. I stayed with the same brand, but I switched locations, and I learned that every real estate brokerage operates differently. It doesn't matter if they share the same brand.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of leadership. And then I started to see the gaps in my first brokerage through my experience at my second brokerage. But at my second brokerage, just a lot more organized, and it gave me a chance to just kill it. And my first year in real estate, I did pretty well. I doubled the income that I made when I was a banker, and I said, this is great, but I started causing another problem. I caused an issue of my phone is ringing 80 times a day. I can't get to every phone call. I'm in trouble. The guy that's all about world-class service and and customer care can't even get back to customers, and that caused a friction. So I started to invite people into the business, my brother, my wife, my friends. I started to ask people to come in and join, and I realized that the brokerage I'm in doesn't even want to service the locations that I'm serving. So that's how Provident Legacy was born. So I didn't even become a broker
Got
yet. I just opened up the company. We hired a broker, and we've been going for 8 years now. In
Nice.
2018, here's what happened in 2018 that's so critical. 2018, we opened up Provident Legacy School of Real Estate. This is what we're going to be discussing today. In 2018, we opened up the school, and we started getting people licensed through our school right here in Bayonne. And at the end of 2018, at that point, I was the founder, the broker of record, the CEO of Provident Legacy Real Estate Services, the brokerage, and the founder and school director of a school. And at that time, my partners really stepped up. They're amazing people. Giselle Lorena and Jacob Masharbush, who's my older brother, and Giselle Lorena is actually my sister-in-law. They've been with me, like, building this company unseen. Nobody sees them in front of the camera. I mean, they're not that type of people. They're behind the scenes building engines and systems. And at that point, I appointed Giselle and to take over as CEO and Jacob to take over as broker of record. And I did that at the end of 2018. And the company has been operating even smoother. So I took a step back as chairman of the board for the brokerage. So I'm founder, chairman of the board at the brokerage. That liberates me and gives me a freedom I never thought was even possible, Stephen. I mean, it's amazing that I could be here. But gives me a little bit of time to focus on the school and do some real estate development. So since end of 2018, I started rolling out real estate development and building some projects myself with a small team, with my brothers, right. With my investor friends, and the school continued to grow. And now, with the executive order from Governor Murphy, number 103, while that executive order is active, you could get your license online.
Right. And we want to talk about that more. We want that's what we want to get into today and go into detail, because a lot of people have questions. How does it work? What's the difference between online and going in person? So I had a couple questions. I mean, thank you so much for sharing that. You said so many points there. I wanted to stop you and ask you again, because you did. It seems like you made major commitments throughout your career, right? You made a decision and you committed to it. One of the things I heard you say was that you were working in corporate America, and you made this jump from corporate America, a 9-to-5 job when you're employed, and then going into entrepreneurship or going into real estate, where there's no income guaranteed, there's no anything, there's no salary, you have to go out there and get it. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. I think a lot of people have good intentions of getting into the business, but that's what's stopping them. So what would you recommend, or what type of mindset would someone need to really make that jump? What do they have to consider?
Like I stated before, this is not for everyone, Steve. I'd love to get everybody in my classroom right now and collect $400 each, right? And sit back and just, whether you fail, you pass, you do it, you don't do it. The reality is I don't want to do that. I want to be upfront about real estate. Real estate is a serious career. It requires commitment. It requires a do or die attitude, and it requires you burning the ships. And what I mean by that is that you got to burn every opportunity and go and win the war. So if you're landing into the territory of real estate and you want to do it, you got to burn all the other opportunities. Well, maybe I could cut hair on the side. Maybe I could, drive Uber on the side. Maybe I could, trade stocks on the side and then do real estate. And then eventually I'll win in real estate. I think to really punch through, you got to eliminate all these options, right? Burn the ships so there's no escape. And now you got to conquer the land, right? And when you have no other options, you will start to connect with the right people. You'll start to learn the ins and outs of the real estate business. You'll start to see where you can make quick money. That's at least take care of the cell phone bill. Like, these are the rentals, right? And learn how to do the bigger sales at the same time, so that you could take care of the immediate needs in your household and build a pipeline of sales that could fund a lot of your bigger goals. So paying off debt, going on vacation, traveling, saving up. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do much of that in rentals. You'll do that with sales. But if you have a combination of both, especially when you're starting out, you'll be able to take care of the now, and you'll be able to take care of some of the bigger goals that you have.
Yeah. You said a couple of things. So yeah, I agree with you. You said, you can get in. It's a commitment. Burn the bridges, burn the ships, right? You could start off.
Burn bridges. Definitely burn bridges.
Burn the ships. But you said, so you could start off part-time, right? You don't have to be full-time. But what you're saying is if you want to reach a very high income in this business, it requires for you to be full-time, right? Because
Yes.
me personally, I started part-time. My first years in the business, I was in school full-time. I was a full-time student at NJCU. I was working construction, and the time that I did have, I was dedicating to real estate. And it wasn't until I went full-time that my income really went to that next level, right? So I agree with you 100%. I don't want people to think that you can get in it part-time, and you could, but if you want to make a high income in this business, reach that 1%. That 1% of people in this country who earn the most income, it requires you to commit full-time for sure.
Yep. So you definitely could start part-time. I've seen a number of agents do that through my years in the business, and it worked out. But it requires careful planning, and it's possible. But for someone to tell you, do it part-time, you're going to get rich, they're lying to you.
Yeah.
You could do it part-time. You could use that part-time space to get the learning curve out of the way.
Yep.
Then once you got all the learning out of the way, got all the systems figured out, and then you go full-time, at least you go full-time, but way ahead of the game, and start to earn income quicker.
Yeah, cool. No, that's true. So, Lisa, I wanted to go over some of the questions, right? So people can understand if this is what they want to do, how can they get this license? So my first question to you is obviously with the new laws and what's happening with COVID-19, it's the first time ever in New Jersey's history that someone could get a license online. So can you kind of go over the new rules exactly? What are the new rules in regards to that?
All right. So right now you could get your real estate license online. I don't know if the website is streaming on the bottom. Perfect. Okay. So if you visit providentlegacyschool.com, that's where you can register for our school. Our school is unique. It is truly unique in a sense that no other school that I have seen yet has done the due diligence, the amount of work and effort and recording required to make a class that is so smooth that you could take at your own pace. Now, what most schools are doing, first of all, let me just share that half of the schools in New Jersey are doing nothing. They decided, let's do nothing. Let's wait. Maybe they're not ready for the technology change to have classes online. The other half that are doing something, they're doing Zoom and webinar classes live. So essentially you log in at 9 a.m. and you got to stick around till 2 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whatever the class term is. The problem with that I was able to address up front is if I'm going to teach that, I'm going to have a hard time because I got 3 children. They're going to be jumping up on me while I'm teaching from 9 to 5, needing my attention. It got me thinking about parents that are home that could do this class, but they may not be able to do straight 9 to 5 or 9 to 4 live. Now, I know what schools are doing. They're doing it. Parents are just missing out an hour here, 2 hours there, 3 hours here, 2 hours there. And the schools are doing the best they can to try to make that stuff up. But you can't make up a lost lesson. The instructor is getting paid to teach once. You follow?
Gotcha.
So what we said up front, we said, you know what? Let's build a class that could be 75 hours long, meet the state requirements, and let's do it all up front. Meaning hire the film crew, hire all the people, all the staff, and let's do it in 3 weeks. And we did that. In less than 3 weeks, actually 2.5 weeks, we were able to build this class, and we released it on April 20th. On April 20th now, we have students in our classroom, and then we're following up with them. We're making sure they're getting through the material just fine. But now they could pause chapter 1, go handle some business, and come back and continue chapter 1. And it monitors all their hours. It keeps track of how long they've been on. They can't skip lessons. They got to pass a quiz every chapter to make it to the next chapter. And it's a wonderful, wonderful class. And I'm so grateful that my wife and my associates, Milan, my brother, Duda, they worked 24/7 for 2 weeks in a row to make this happen.
Yeah.
I did the easy part. I stood up and I taught. They did all the hard work.
That's
But that's
great.
available right on our website.
That's really great. It's the first time I'm kind of hearing something like that. I know there may be, like you said, half of the schools aren't doing anything, and only a few are. And I think you're one of the only schools that are doing it that way. And I think it's more officially done that way. And that's why I refer you guys all the time, because you're local, you're online, you're digital, and I'll be a testament right now. My sister went to your school. She got licensed in 2 weeks. And now she's selling houses and she works with me. So, and that's why I refer other people to the school, because it's super user friendly. You get straight to the point. You get to the meat and potatoes, and that's how I like to be taught, right? Now, Issa, can you kind of just go over, prior to this, or if it's still the same? So, how long does it take to get your license, and how does it work? What's the process?
All right, so you got to get those 75 hours out of the way and get a certificate from a school. You could do that obviously at our school. You could do it online at your own pace, but it's 75 hours. So some people, it's taking them 2 weeks. Others is going to take them 3 weeks. I have a night class that takes 7 weeks. Obviously, with the online world, it's the same thing. You just take it at your own pace. You choose the hours. I think a healthy minimum is 2 weeks. If you try to do the class in 5-6 days, because you can put those hours in, your brain is just gonna be fried from all this new information. I mean, you're being introduced to new concepts chapter after chapter, and it's, don't go through it too quickly. Either way, you're required to do the 75 hours. That's what we care most about. That and then passing each chapter, because it won't let you go on to the next stage until you pass. But and that's how we guarantee comprehension. But what's important is that you get it done, whether it's in 2 or 3 weeks, and then after that, you get a certificate from our school. Once you have our certificate, your information is uploaded to the state via PSI. PSI is the company the state hires to administer all the exams on behalf of the Real Estate Commission. PSI is going to send you an email. As soon as we hand you the certificate, you're going to get an email to register and take the state exam. Now, state exam, right? The state exam sites are on hold until May 15th. So it's a really good time to take your class now, get the hours out the way, do all the studying, and then May 15th forward, you book your state exam. Once you nail the state exam, and this is what our school specializes in, it's helping you pass the state exam. Once you pass the state exam, you go on to a fingerprinting process, and from there, you meet up with your broker, whether it's joining you, Steve, if you have a team that's joining you, they go see you. You introduce them to the broker. We need the broker's signature. The broker mails the application with $160 due to the state and the fingerprint receipts. The state will take their time to process that application. It's a little bit slower now, but within 3 weeks or so, you would get licensed pretty much, and you start working.
So in 3 weeks, you can start your real estate empire.
I've seen the state hand me an application back in 5 days. They work in first come, first serve, and they're limited now because of the pandemic. But within 3 weeks, essentially, you could start. Yeah, you could start building your real estate empire, as Steve says.
Sure. I mean, if you're going to start something, you might as well do it big, right? But Issa, so you said a couple things, and I think this is another reason why I really wanted to give this information out there, because like you said, the best time to do it as far as the schedule is in that 2 week period, because that's what I did. I did it in the 2 week class. I did it in the summer when I wasn't in school. And a lot of people say, well, I don't have the time, you know, I can't do those hours, you know, I have work, I would love to, but I can't. And now, you know, everyone's home, and it's a great opportunity to really, during this time, do that 2-week course at your pace and get it done, right? I think this is the best opportunity for that. So again, we just want to let people know how this works, so they can get licensed during this time. So yeah, no, so that's great. Now, Issa, you mentioned a couple things about so just to go back, so you have to go to school, complete 75 hours. Do you have to pass do you just do the 75 hours and that's it, or do you have to pass like an exam in that school?
Yeah, you will pass a school exam.
Okay.
If you do your time right, if you go through the class, you will pass my exam. You will, because it's my exam is a combination of all the exams or quizzes you're going to be taking throughout the 22 chapters. By the way, this is the book we use. We're going to mail it to you. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to do it on Instagram right here. This is the Essentials of New Jersey Real Estate. Let me just do it. It's hard to get both screens. Okay. The Essentials of New Jersey Real Estate is what we're using, the 13th edition. We will get this book to you. Our staff will drive to your house and drop off the book to make sure you have it, because you need this as your guide to take the online class. We don't have an online version of the book, so we're delivering it. If you live very, very far, we're going to mail it to you as quickly as we can. But if you're within a 45-minute, 1-hour radius, Malad, our school administrator, will get it over to you.
Got it.
So you got to pass. You got to pass a quiz in every chapter. There's 22 chapters in here. If you score a 70 or higher, it's a 10-question quiz. Okay, in each chapter. If you score a 70 and up, you'll move on to the next module. So at the end, we're going to give you 110 questions to mirror the state exam. We're going to give you up to 4 hours to take it. Most people take it in 90 minutes. But you'll essentially, most people will pass that school exam because if they got that far, they know the material. You don't let them move on unless they pass. So
exactly. So you have to go to school, whether that's private legacy school. You go to school, you do your 75 hours. You have to pass the school exam in the school to qualify to take the state exam.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Because people could put the time in, but if you're not there and you don't put your mind into it, we're not going to just hand you a ticket to the state exam. We want to make sure you comprehend the material.
You need to know it, because if so that okay. No, yeah, you need to know it. So I think that's why it's so important to pick a good school, because a lot of people I know have passed the school exam, but the school that they went to didn't really prepare them for the state exam. And you touched a point that you guys really spent a lot of time on preparing you to pass that state exam. So I think that's super important, because without passing the state exam, you cannot get licensed.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And the people that went to other schools, you should call them, let them know to come and take our online class now, because there's a short window to do that. I don't know if I emphasize that enough, though. This online class is temporary. It's not forever. So when Executive Order number 103 is no longer active, it could be as early as May 15th. It could be as late as September 15th. We don't know. But when it's lifted, we got to take that class down. I'm sure we're going to honor people that are in the class that registered and started the class sooner. But at some point, the state is going to ask us to go back to in-person teaching, which I love, by the way. I enjoy that. We have amazing instructors in our school. that do
Liz,
that.
I'm sorry. So we have someone. Liz said, "Amazing experience with the school online. I'm in the process of the online course, and it's amazing." Thanks, Lisa.
Oh, thank you, Liz. Thank you,
So
Liz. I
we have
appreciate
another
that. You see,
testimonial there. Now, Issa, I wanted to
I
touch on something. So you
appreciate
said
when
something
someone
important.
else.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. So
I
I just wanted
appreciate
to touch
when
on something real important.
I'm this salesperson, right, to my own school. I'm this evangelist to real estate education. But when somebody else tells you about their experience, it's a blessing to me. That's why I focus on the student experience. So if you don't believe me, go on our website. Look at our Google reviews. We have 5-star reviews, not just from 4 or 5 people or 6 people. There's over 30, 35 people that are telling you their experiences through our school. And there's a load of students in class right now online that haven't finished yet. So they haven't even given us their reviews.
Right.
But within a few more days, people will start to share their reviews and we'll get them to you. But this, I mean, there's a live endorsement on is this Instagram, right?
Yeah.
On Instagram of someone who's
Yeah,
currently
they
in
just
the
put
class.
it up there. It just came up, and I was like, I got to read it. So
That's
so,
awesome.
So Issa, you mentioned a couple of things. So all right, so now you're licensed, right? And now it's you have your fingerprints. You pass the state exam. Now you're in a position where you have to hang your license, right? And you mentioned something about potentially, reaching out to me or maybe your company, or so now you're in a position where you have to hang your license. What does that actually mean? And when someone's choosing a brokerage, what should they be looking at? What things should they be really paying attention to? Because
that's a really good question, Steve.
sometimes people just see they see these companies and they just assume that they're gonna blow up their business. Because something else is the school. It doesn't necessarily, on this, just a school in general, the real estate school, it really prepares you to pass the state exam, but it doesn't really give you the tools and the training and the system to really start making money in real estate, right?
Yes. So this 75-hour course is just to get you to step number 1.
Right.
Step number 1 is to get a license, because without a license, you cannot talk to the public about real estate. You cannot engage in real estate. I mean, that's why we get the license, so we have the authority to sell. Of course, we're selling under the supervision of a brokerage with a broker, right? So you need to find a broker. So don't make the mistake I made. I made the mistake of going to one of the largest names in real estate next to my house. The closest, largest real estate office next to my house. It was the worst experience ever.
No names. It's okay.
No, I would not do names. But here's why. You need to interview 3 people. Minimum 3 different brokers. You're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you.
You're interviewing them. You're interviewing them. That's it.
Yeah. Well, some companies like ours, we're picky, man.
For sure. Oh, no.
So
what do you mean by that? Interviewing them. What does that mean?
So you want to find out a number of things, right? So yes, it's important to ask for the obvious, right? How much am I getting paid per deal? Like, what's my commission split? That's important. That's big. Sure. 2, what fees do I have to pay? I love KW, but I hate their fees. Steve, when you were there, and I have a lot of awesome friends at KW, the biggest problem I have is when people go there not understanding the fees. Ask about the fee. I'm not saying the fees are bad. I'm not saying they're ripping you off. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you understand what the fees are and you appreciate the value of them, then that's good. But you won't know until you ask. Ask about the fees, right? So that right off the bat, you want to get out of the way. What am I getting paid, and how much is it costing me
to run my business? Yeah,
to run my business. But don't miss out on what I'm going to say next, because I think that's more important than what you get paid. what type of environment and culture are you going to be a part of? What kind of resources and value they're going to add to your career development? That's so important, Steve, because you may get an amazing deal, but if you're in a bad place, man, it's not gonna work out. I rather you get paid a little bit less, but get paid less per deal, but close more deals, than to get this 100% deal, but you could barely get anything done. Right?
What's 100% of zero?
Exactly. What's 100% of nothing? Nothing.
So yeah, I think
so these are questions you got to ask.
Because I think a lot of people get caught up in like, well, what's the commission split? Oh, well, I want to get. They're more concerned with the commission split versus the training, the culture, and the environment that you're talking about, which is that's really what's going to build your foundation, right? The training, the culture, the systems. You know, what are you going to teach me so I can grow my business, right? And that's kind of what I looked at in the beginning. In the beginning, I didn't really the commission split. I didn't understand anyway, so I didn't really care because I just wanted to get in the business and start producing. I was more concerned of training because I don't know. I had zero experience. I did construction before. I had no sales experience. I had no idea what I was doing. So I focused on training, and the training is what's helped me get to grow my business and continue growing every year. So I think people sometimes focus too much on the commission splits and and don't look at the actual culture, environment, and training, which I think that's number one. At least in my book.
Yep, definitely. I have 5 things that I believe are very important for the life of the real estate agent. There's 5 things you need to get as a brand new agent. Coaching, and I'm going to touch on that briefly because I know time is running out. Coaching. The real estate industry decided that, shoot, we can't handle coaching. Let's outsource it. So you have the Tom Ferries, the Mike Ferries of the world charging a brand new agent $500-$600 a month, which they don't even have. They haven't produced yet. So there's that avenue of coaching. There's the internal coaching. Well, let's charge the agent by assigning a senior agent to coach them, and they will take half of their commission, right? So if they bring in $1,000, they have to share 500 of that with the coach because the coach is giving them coaching. So that's the way the industry handled coaching. Some got more innovative and said, you know what, let's charge 10%, but put you in a group coaching so the coach could earn a living, but from a broader group of people. And that's how the industry dealt with it, which I saw as, we got to do better than that. So what I set up at Provident Legacy is really to inspire the industry to step up and provide coaching one-on-one to those who want it and need it at no cost to anyone. The brokerage is already making money. The brokerage is already collecting a commission split, right? Why can the broker or a leader that's on salary get paid to help people get to the next level? So coaching is number 1. 2, training. Coaching and training are 2 separate things. Coaching is about accountability. Training is about sharpening your skills. You need both. You need training and coaching when you're starting out. You need it. I think these 5 things you need forever, but especially starting out. Coaching, training. Not just an online module that you could just plug into and hope you could learn something, but something more interactive where you could be in a classroom setting, etc. Third, marketing. You could be the marketer yourself, or you could hope to have a team of people doing some of the marketing things for you, so you could just remain as the salesperson and focus your energy on money-making activities. Let someone else handle the posting, the marketing. The 4th thing is administrative support. You need people to do some excess paperwork for you, right? You need staff. You want to join a brokerage that has staff. Don't get me wrong. I understand there's models of brokerages with 0 staff, where it's just one broker and everybody has to go on floor time. And during your floor time, you become the staff to everyone else and hope to get leads in between. There's these models, but I believe every brokerage should provide a high degree of administrative support for agents. So that's the fourth thing. And the last thing is what I started with earlier is the culture. So important. You want people that are supporting you in your career, and you could support back. And I share this example every now and then. Stephen, if you walk into a dark office that's negative, everyone's talking about how bad the economy is going to be. Things are just, the world is ending. Deals are falling apart, right? And you're there to make your 100 calls. Compare that experience to walking into an office of people that are hungry, that are making phone calls, that are positive. When they see you, they say, hey, Stephen, you're making your 100 calls. Guess what? I'm going to make my 100 calls too. Let's do it together.
Yeah.
Culture is so important.
And I think to add to that, I think that just goes to, just the people you surround yourself with too. Because unconsciously, when you're in that dark room and people are talking negatively, you can be in a positive state, but just being in that environment unconsciously in your mind, that starts affecting your mindset. And you start thinking that way too. So it comes down to, family, friends. And this is another reason why I want to do this. I wanted to let people know, like, listen, guys, I've been there. I started with absolutely nothing, and I'm growing my business. I'm heading. I keep growing, and I'm heading in the right direction. And I want to be a source for people where they can reach out, plug into an environment, ask me questions. Because, like you said, culture is so important, and it's really what it sounds like. It's the mindset culture, right? The mindset of culture.
The mindset, the environment. I think. Well, let's touch on culture for a few minutes.
Sure.
How do you know good culture versus hype culture? You don't want the hype culture because hype only goes so far. What you want is a real culture that's ongoing. And you do that by asking questions like, what's your core values as a brokerage? What is your core values? Because your core values are supposed to be the normal framework of your behavior forever. Where hype is like, hey, we're all excited you joined. Woo! That's going to last about a week. At Provident Legacy, we have these 5 core values that really busted through the most difficult times, because we figured out this is our moral compass: integrity of character, what that means to us; leadership and accountability, what that means to us; diversity and inclusion, what that means to us; empowerment and performance; world-class delivery. All that sums up in 5 words, really simple words: love, care, serve, lead, win. And when that's not just something you use to hype people, but something you live out in your day-to-day operation and in your own life, and when your private life and your public life look the same, that's really true culture. True culture is when I tell agents, I love them, and because I love people. Then I go to my household and I tell my family I love them because I love people, and not, I'm not the person leading people in public, but I'm abusing my family in private, right? Core values go beyond just your work. It manages your entire framework of life. So ask about core values when you're interviewing with a broker. I'm sorry, I talk too much. I know.
No. This is all great stuff. It's true because, a lot of people don't consider these things. They kind of think that's fluff and core values, but that's so important, because any major company in this country and in the world, they all have core values, right? Not real estate related, just any big company in general, they have core values, and they hire people and they attract people based on those core values. So I think that's really important to understand that, because then you see if it's a match for you, right? If you align with those core values, you're going to say to yourself, I can see myself growing a business here. Versus if the core values are not what you're aligned with, how are you going to grow in that environment? So I think that's super important. So Isa, we have a couple more minutes here. I wanted to ask you maybe one or two last questions. So, all right. So now we went to school, went to Proud Legacy School. We passed the school exam. Now we qualify for the state exam. We take the state exam. Now we're going to hang our license at a brokerage. We go to Provident Legacy Real Estate Service. We go to EXP Realty. We start interviewing these companies. We pick a company, right? The one that best suits our needs and what we're looking to do. Give me one or two advice. What would you do? A brand new agent, what should they be doing right away to start growing that business and start making money?
I think the first thing a real estate agent needs to do right away, right off the bat, is begin contacting everyone in their phone. Pull up your phone. You have a whole bunch of numbers already. So you don't have to look for numbers. You don't have to look for leads. You don't have to look to buy something or the magic pill or where's the list that the broker is going to give me or the leads that are going to come. And no, start with your phone. In that phone are the phone numbers of the people that know you the most. Mom, dad, brother, sister, uncle, friend, this friend, the old friend, my coworker, my old coworker, my last job. The beautiful thing about these phones is it keeps your contacts. It keeps adding. I haven't changed my phone in forever. So I have like 1,000 people on my phone, like phone numbers of people like I haven't talked to in years. This is the time to just call them and say, hey, we haven't talked in a while. I just wanted to let you know I'm a real estate agent now. And I wanted to let you know that if you have any real estate needs, please reach out to me. I'm here to serve you. And start asking specific questions. Specific questions, because how you ask is it makes a big difference. Calling everyone and just announcing, hey, I'm in real estate, just want you to know, is one thing. But the next thing is, do you know someone that's looking to buy a house in the next 5-6 days? Do you know someone who right now is looking to sell their property right now or looking to rent their property or have a vacancy? When you put it in that perspective, people start to think about conversations they've been hearing, and they will keep thinking that way over the next couple of days to refer you. You start that way, and your business is going to catch on fire. You do that with your center of influence. Everyone you connect with needs to know you're in real estate, and that's how you really kick it off. Don't wait for the magic pill. I understand some people may say, well, I just moved to New Jersey and I have no contacts here. Okay, for that group, you start with where you go to eat, where you go to do your laundry, where you go to get your car fixed. You start with all the people that provide you service that you have contact with, and you start informing them. For those that say, hey, my entire family's in Florida, I'm not licensed there. Then you go to that second tier of all the contacts that you have from service providers, your accountant, your lawyers, and anyone you've ever done business with. Yeah.
So no, I think that's great advice, because and just to be very upfront, that's a mistake that I did. I actually didn't reach out to the people I knew, because at the time I was 22 years old. In my mind, I had a limited belief that, well, my friends are young and they're not in a position to buy or sell a house, so I can't help them, right? So for a long time, I neglected my database and my sphere of influence, the people I know, and I went after people I didn't know. And even though I still was able to get business, that's probably the hardest way to get business, because you have to talk to so many more people just to get one deal. Versus now that I'm plugging into my database and my sphere, and I built my business. People know I'm in the business now. That conversation is a lot easier to have, but I had a limited belief. So if I were to start all over again, that's what I would do. I would build that database of everybody I know, and I would reach out and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm here for you. If you have any questions, concerns, or if there's anything I can do for you or anyone you know, feel free to reach out. Let's call 10 people. They say 10 people, and 9 say no, I don't know anything. Great. Well, let's collect their email. Let's put them in a database and let's market to them. So
that's really good, Stephen. And let me say this: at some point, when you do this hard work up front, at some point, people will start calling you, and that's the beauty of it. When you wake up, and you start getting messages from people, hey, I have a lead for you. This person needs this. This other person needs that. But that doesn't happen magically. There is no magic to this. It's putting in the work, letting everyone know you're there to serve them. You're there to help them. You're consistent. You're on it. You're not switching from selling this item. 3 weeks later, by the way, I sell oils now. 4 weeks later, now I sell like I do like blockchain and stuff. And then a week later, you start doing something. When you're consistent, people love consistency. Something about consistency builds trust with your audience.
Right.
And now with social media, a lot of people that are on your phone are also on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your LinkedIn. You should be using that to communicate to them about all the things you're doing in real estate.
Got it. Well, Issa, you know, I think this was great. You provided so much value, so much information for people who are watching. You know, I hope this inspired you guys to sign up. You know, go to providentlegacyschool.com, sign up for the online course. You know, just take action, guys. If you're hesitant, that's good because it's your mind telling you to do it and not to do it. And there's something that's not clear. And all I would say is I just wish I started earlier. I started at 22. I wish I started 2 years ago when I found out about real estate before that. So take action, just do it. Have faith in yourself. And yeah, if you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out to me via Instagram or my Facebook. Issa, if someone wanted to reach out to you, how can they reach you?
All right. So you could reach me at providentlegacyschool.com for anything school related. You could call me 201-401-6567. I don't know if this will play again, but it's 201-401-6567. I'm on every social media platform. I'm pretty good at responding on Instagram, on Facebook. I struggle a little bit, or a lot, I should say, with LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I have like 18,000 plus people on there, and I get a ton of messages. Some of them are just like junk. So don't reach out to me there. It's better you get me either by email, by text, by calls, or on social media and particularly Instagram, Facebook. But providentlegacyschool.com, you'll learn so much about what our school is doing. There is a way you could just reach me directly from that website. On the bottom of the website, there's the contact button. I get those emails personally, and I respond to them.
Great. Well, Issa, thank you so much for your time. I think there was a lot of value provided. I'm looking forward to seeing people reach out, let me know that they signed up. If you do sign up, please let me know. Send me a direct message. You can text me. I would love to follow your journey and help you in any way I can. And I know Issa will also be more than happy to help you answer any questions during your journey. So thank you so much. Any last minute words, Issa, or anything you want to finish off with?
Yeah, just for all the real estate people out there that may be struggling a bit, just remember, get some perspective in regards to what's going on. I know it's tough. Real estate dropped a little bit. We saw a massive drop that middle to end of March in showings, and then it started to spike back up little by little. It hasn't gotten back to where we were before, and that has a massive impact on a lot of agents and their income. But just remember, your income, you're already doing better than 99% of the world. Let me say that again. You and I, Steve, and people in our industry, and most people watching this are doing better than 99% of the entire world. So when we put that in perspective, we could be a little better level-headed in times like this, and keep going and adding value and providing value. So thank you guys for tuning in, joining us. Steve, thank you so much for putting this together and inviting me to do this. Whenever you need anything like this, anytime I could add value to what you're doing, feel free to connect.
Perfect. All right, Issa, be safe. Take care. We'll be in touch.
You got it.